welcome to Savage Kings. I am your host, Prince Kurt Russell. I'm here with my special co host and guest today, Mr. Joey Rosenberg. Joey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. I live in a car. No, 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 I would actually have more credentials as a comedian if I lived in a car. I feel like there's something about that. If you suck but you live in a car for a week, you think you go to like an open mic and just kill it. But
you're trying to get the fuck into an apartment. You work on it.
Are you breaking into my apartment? Apartment? You mean this car? Let's see. I've been doing stand-up like about 4 years. I was in a band for 2 of those same years. Well, I was in a band for a long time, but I was doing music and comedy for 2 of those same years. And I started loving it. I mean, I always love comedy. You think you always love comedy, but until you start doing it, you don't know how much you're willing to go through to pursue it. But
It's true.
I started doing it like 4 years ago, and I'd say this summer was probably the best that I'd had in terms of like as a stand-up. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still nowhere, but I got to do background work on some movies and some TV shows, like the Saints of Newark prequel, like that prequel for the Sopranos. That stuff's gonna be coming soon. I think it's gonna come out like a year from now. I'm recording like 3 or 4 songs for this album I'm working on. I can't sing or nothing, so it's don't worry, I'm not gonna try and just like, by the way, play that. Like, no. But
I can't, but I do it anyway.
So but that's because I was always doing music. But comedy is what I actually like very much love to do, and just seeing the way, like the PC thing. I know we're starting off hot, ladies and gentlemen. The the PC thing, like it's been around for a while. Like if you go back and watch, maybe in 2003, Patrice O'Neal had a half-hour special. It wasn't Elephant in the Room. That was 2011. This was 2003.
R.I.P. to the homie.
Right? He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
like,
he was good. For real.
But rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal. What would he be saying about what's going on right now?
Something diabetic.
But like, dude, Patrice O'Neal's opening joke in that special is like, you ever get tired of the Hindu obstacle course at the airport? The Hindu obstacle course at the airport.
Shit.
I'm like, wow, right away. And even then,
I know
the
what
crowd.
you're talking about.
Oh,
Remember
but,
that
like,
special?
it
Yeah.
took like 5,
I
6
YouTube
seconds.
this shit at that special.
And I'm like,
2010.
wow.
Yeah.
And then the second line was, I'm a racist, but like that was the second line. And I'm just, wow, So, but there's definitely been like a gravitation away from judging something by what you think their actions mean instead of where you think they might be coming from. Like if you know where a comedian's coming from, he's coming from a place where he's trying to be funny. That's the goal. The only comedian I've ever even heard of that went on stage and didn't intend to get 100% laughs was Hannah Gadsby, Nanette, which is like a totally different spin. But that was more than stand up. That was like a one woman show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Say.
It was a whole thing.
I feel like your craft is under attack. So I feel like I have to stand up for comics, regardless of whatever, because some comics really want to go there. And I think that's your right to go there. Even if it's not funny, it's not going to be appeasing to everybody. Motherfucker, I laugh the fuck out of some abortion jokes. I don't give a fuck. That baby, hey, nigga, you can't laugh. I can. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
So hold up. Let me pick.
Well, what were you gonna name it? If you didn't abort it, what would the name have been? Like,
oh, little future Jason, I wish you could partake in that joke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Johnny the Fourth. Oh my God.
fourth is the best, right?
You're
Fourth
with
time's
your
a charm.
brothers now. But hold on. So let me ask you guys something. You guys do comedy. Do you guys think you need to edit your craft now for the rooms that you guys are in?
and that's all right. I'm gonna say this. I don't like doing that, and I find myself doing that more and more now.
Okay.
And even though I shouldn't, and it's part of the reason why lately I've been having this like hesitation, and it's what I'm saying, it's something that you say, man, this shit ain't gonna happen, but deep down inside, it's like I ain't got no endorsements yet.
It's there. You're worried.
But isn't that like almost like reading the room? So it's like you throw a bad joke and you're like, these motherfuckers don't like, minstrel jokes. Let me throw blah. Isn't that almost like the same thing? So like you don't know the crowd you're going in until you throw the joke.
It's
right?
almost like life has become like an SNL audition, right? Like you're going for the room, but you're going for thousands of people or millions of people that you don't even know and might not ever see you, and it's a lot to take in when you're doing 5 minutes or 4 minutes,
Yeah.
and And Kurt, you
Yeah,
do know
you're
that
right.
there's
You're right.
some comics though that go up there and they are what the other side are talking about, where they're going up and nothing they're saying is funny, and it's
Right.
just like, I get that being passe, you know what I mean? I do, but that is, that's a very extreme thing, and take that how it is. But to create enemies that aren't actually your enemies, like, don't you got a lot of, based on the causes
Fuck
you're
it,
fighting?
50 Cent did it and it got him to the top of his mountain for a long time. Now we're talking about two different arts, two different mediums, but war sells.
Okay.
Right?
What-
And
yeah.
contention sells. So we're looking at this on one way. Yo, Shane Gillis got something really big coming to him,
Yeah.
maybe 6 to 8, maybe a year down the line, right? Because we're not, you know what I'm saying? He's probably going to headline some festivals now. We look at Kevin Hart, right? He gave up the Oscars on some shit,
boy.
Yeah.
which, you know what I'm saying? It's neither here or there. I don't think Kevin Hart was trying to be funny there. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
When he first made
What, like-
the tweet.
The tweet.
Back when.
What
Right,
was
but
it?
the tweet
I
was
think-
way before he got
Yeah.
as big as what he was.
Yeah.
That's one. Number two,
The dollhouse. thing.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Dave Chappelle makes a great point, right? In his last special, if anyone
Sticks and
knows it.
Stones.
Sticks
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That means he would have to go out, buy a fucking dollhouse,
Like a dollhouse.
and
Right.
bring it up.
Like,
So he was being ironic, he's being facetious, but nigga hates gay people. Like, you can very clearly
like
tell
Wait, who hates gay people?
Kevin Hart. You can.
You really think so?
I don't.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think
Now,
so
see, that's my
either.
thing. I don't think he
Here's
gives
my
a
thing.
fuck about
Let
the
me
gay.
not. Hold on. There you go. Okay.
You get what I'm saying? It's not
and
like,
to me,
yo.
here's my thing.
Ooh,
Here's my
sweating
thing. Here's my
bullets.
thing. Because I'll crack jokes on everybody. I love it. And I love the heat that I get off of it.
Right.
Okay? But the thing about it is, toleration to me is still hate.
Okay.
He's tolerating people,
Yeah.
right? And that's the shit that bothers the fuck out of me. No, you can't tolerate people. You can make them jokes as much as you want. You can do it 1,000,000 times a year, as long as you know about their culture.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, but how do you prove that before? That's the thing. You gotta like preempt in a way.
His jokes would be more defined
Well, it's-
to that culture, where you know okay. Perfect
So
way,
wait, what do you
perfect
mean
way-
it'd be
hold on,
more
wait.
defined?
Perfect
Because
way,
he's-
perfect way to put that.
Okay.
like,
Okay.
remember where Kevin Hart was though before
yeah, okay.
all this? He was
All right.
like, remember
Right, at that
what
time.
he was
All right,
You're right.
okay.
before
You're right.
all this.
Dave Chappelle has been making gay jokes forever. I remember when there was a time people were like, "Yo, Dave is a real," you know what I'm saying, anti-gay, and people were coming out at him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Take a look at how detailed his jokes are
Okay.
about the community.
Right.
Means you have to have spent some time with the community.
Okay.
And I think I was talking to a queer woman a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Yo, I loved it." She's like, "We're too sensitive. The people that came out were just too sensitive." She's like, "Yo, you got to spend time with us." And it's the truth. I said it to her before. She's like, "You got to spend time with us to know them jokes,
Right.
right? To go through the all right." Okay, the G's are driving it, which is absolutely fucking
Right. Yeah. I think he laid
The
that shit out
B's and the
perfectly.
G's
These
and
motherfuckers hate each other, but they all go
Because
down the
it's so
same
true.
path.
It is so
I
true,
think
right?
I'm with
And
it.
he goes, and the L's, the
Right.
G's don't really have a problem with the L's, but they're always saying, little little things that, unnecessary comments like, "Well, I wouldn't wear that." Of course you fucking would. Okay?
Right.
But
Right.
That is such a, unless you're in the community, and people always sit there and they can accuse me or whatever they want to accuse me of, or say I'm gay. I love the community. The community is dope.
Right.
There is nothing you're gonna find better than the LGBTQA community, bro. And you can slap my LMNOP on that shit. I don't give a fuck. Okay? All right? they have. It's kind of like when you're on the outlier and you can't see the inside of it.
Yes.
Just start dumping yourself in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your jokes will be better. And then gay people will start going, or whoever, Chinese people, black people will start, like Gary
So,
Owens.
How do you compare
Owen.
that to? But how do you compare that to Kevin Hart? Because what he said was a statement at a time when he was younger. He was in the entertainment field, but he wasn't as big, just like Joe was saying. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, the further you get in the entertainment field, it's full of all the LGBTQ, the alphabet people you want to. They all in there. I don't give a fuck. 'Cause when I was working in there, they're all in there all around.
More.
So now,
Hey.
right. So, but now Kevin, you get what I'm saying? The new Kevin isn't that old Kevin. So his new experience is he's been around them. You get what I'm saying?
It's
He
true.
he's probably hasn't been shitting on them. And it was a quick statement like if my son was playing with a doll or whatever it was, that was 10 years ago
But then
compared
look
to the
at
Kevin
things
now.
that happened look, I'm all for it, and if you were just to apologize. He was given an
He
interview.
apologized.
He was, yeah, and he did. He did.
We all forgot that.
All right.
He was
Yeah.
like, no, all right, fine.
And he had
I'm sorry.
apologized
He
years before. I
apologized
didn't.
already.
And yeah, and he
make
did
another-
right.
That's
You're
the
right.
thing. He
Again,
can't apologize.
it's
and, like,
culture
how
and
much can you?
it's
Right.
tolerance because he's on what is it like Good Morning America or some shit the other day,
Yeah.
and he's interrupting gay man telling his side of the story.
Oh, are
So,
you talking
okay.
about the joint from the shop when he was oh my God, the Old Town Road Boy. I forgot
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally forgot
Lil
his
Nas
name.
X.
Little Nas X, yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
I
like,
remember
this.
yo, this is his struggle. Let him talk about his piece. What you're doing is like, and it's just that whole notch of I'm tolerating y'all.
Right.
And that's what
Yeah.
it comes off to me. Because let me explain something. When we talk about racism, black people are the first people to jump up and be like, yo, that feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like they acknowledge us, but we're not there. You don't see color. That's toleration. I don't want you to tolerate it. I need you to tackle it full on and understand what the stigma is with this community or what the issue is with this, going on here.
So at this point, because I watched that, that part in the shop, and I watched the whole thing. You can't judge a clip. You get what I'm
did.
saying
I
without watching the
completely-
beginning
Yeah.
and the
I
end.
did.
And right, so
I did.
I think that was a him reacting in a moment, not to like shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, no,
Not
no,
to be
no,
like
no, no,
homos,
no,
shut
no,
up.
no.
You know, it wasn't
I try to
nothing.
do
be
something
passive.
all the
Right.
time, you know?
You're right, but I believe that's the true Kevin, was just a jump out type of person. But
Yeah.
now,
Does it matter?
But-
The
but
biggest
to me-
matter is
but hold
why
on,
there's
hold
a lot
on.
of fucking little gay kids.
but hold on.
who wanna
But
see
here's my
themselves on
point.
TV.
But here's my
Fucking
point.
gay.
Yeah. Here's my
Shout out
point.
to all the little fucking gay
Yeah,
kids.
I know.
out there. All the little fucking gay kids
On
want to see
TV.
themselves on TV.
Woo!
We
I
got
said a
you. We
lot
love
of
you.
little fucking gay kids. Okay?
A lot of all of them. The big ones
But
too.
that's
The
important.
big fucking
Yo,
gay
I grew up
kids.
my whole life not seeing that shit on TV. I grew up I remember being 5 years old or 6 years old in kindergarten. Like, Mom, I met a Filipino person today. How
Yeah.
come I don't see them on TV? I thought she was Chinese. Like, and my
Right.
mom was like, no, and she
You know
showed
why,
me on the
though?
map where the Philippines was.
You know
Right.
why? You know why all this is the way it is? Because like people are getting their news, they're getting their information from posts that people dig up and spread
Yeah,
around.
that's
True.
A lot of times people don't look actually at when. First of all, people just misquote. They're like, you ever see
Oh,
those
yeah.
those memes where like
Oh,
George
yeah.
Washington's like mosh pit, bro. Quote George
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do that shit all the
yeah,
time.
so-
I make them memes.
you know what I mean? So,
Hell
don't
yeah.
think I lie.
But- and some people are
Ben
like,
Franklin.
wow, he was way ahead of his time. Fuck. Fucking founding fathers.
You
But,
know, he
like,
was ahead of his time. I'll
you know,
tell you.
But people don't even look at like if they get an accurate retweet or something, they're not really looking at the post kind of looks the same because Facebook largely has looked the same the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
When you're
yeah.
looking at a special, say like when Patrice O'Neal was talking about what he did, or when Artie Lang he had a joke in like he had a special in 2005 I think called "It's the Whiskey Talking."
Yeah.
His most famous
Oh, I
joke
remember
in that it's a joke where he somehow found a way to use the N word over and over again. I'm not about to fuck. I'm not. Gonna, you know,
He's
watch
like, I ain't
it.
gonna get my ass beat.
He did
Like
it,
special
watch it.
guest is dead.
You know,
Joke
Like,
is only something
he
we
found
can
a way
say
to do it.
to me in
You
a
know,
private
but-
room.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm not going there. But like, but you
We're
can
comics.
tell. You can tell like it's dated. The film looks different. You know it's from a different
Yes.
time, and because it's different, you can appreciate context a little bit more. Whereas
Right.
when you're taking something entirely from a post, and it not only is it divorced from the context of the person writing it, you can't see any of the body language. You can't see exactly when this was made. You're not like when people saw that post and saw that Kevin Hart post, they were thinking maybe because of the new stuff that's come about Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
they
Agreed.
see it through that. They don't see it from the post when anything he
And
did
he had already
would have been
apologized.
lovable.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
I
Like-
stand by that.
But okay.
I stand
So
by
so
that.
then
But
so
what-
then
hold
so
on.
then but hold on really quick. You stand by it, but you gotta kind of remember this is a new Kevin now. He's been in the entertainment world. He's made all these fucking movies, and I know those people all in do the production of the movies. His assistants, and
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? Somebody in that shit is one of the LGBTQ anonymous or synonymous, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the new Kevin has now matured a little bit
Yeah,
to
we
where
all
he's
have.
not even not to say something like that as far as toleration, but probably understands and now he knows the culture.
And we all
You
have
get what I'm
to.
saying?
Like, we
And
all
now
have
he
to.
know
You know what I'm saying?
whatever it is.
But are you creating and with that, are you creating opportunities for these people? Are you?
He probably
you know what I'm
is.
saying?
He
probably
owns
is.
production companies.
Honestly, and with
He's
all,
put out other
with,
comedians, and I know some of them are homosexual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Have you created that third rail? Because when you start, when you make that mistake and you start realizing, oh my God, that's what happened in the '80s. That's how Martin got his show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how, Eddie got. Oh wait, we really don't have any diversity here.
And don't forget, SNL banned Martin Lawrence after like
After that one
hosting
thing, yeah.
because it was too raunchy. I'm like,
He said
It
pussy.
wasn't even that
It wasn't even
raunchy.
that
Yeah.
raunchy.
He
It
didn't
was
say
just
pussy,
like-
He
something
didn't
like
say
that.
pussy. He said he was talking about douche.
Smelly balls.
He said douche.
Your balls
Like a
stink.
douche, like a woman's douche. And he was like, yeah, you got to get the douche and clean out your thing. Get the
Right.
douche and clean out your thing. Nothing was a curse word. Nothing was that. It's just the fact that he did the most. And I remember this as a kid watching it because the shit was fucking hilarious.
Banned it
Fucking
immediately.
No,
Immediately.
he was doing the action, like open your
That was
legs,
Martin
do
back
the
then.
shit,
Because
yeah,
you
and
have
that's what
to.
it was.
Like,
And get the douche
Y'all
and
can't
drop
see
it,
me
and
do
get
it,
the
but I'm
douche
doing
and
the
drop
Martin.
it.
Get in the douche.
Bro.
Get in the douche.
Every time
Yeah.
I've gotten critiqued from like a
Jaina.
booker, dude. Every time I got
But
critiqued
that's
from
what
a
it
booker, they're
was.
like,
It's
be
the body
physical.
language. Yes.
You know, like you gotta
Yeah.
be physical on stage.
Yeah.
Because if you just say the bit and don't get into character for it,
But that's always Martin's style.
yeah.
Even
Exactly.
Fat Martin, old Martin, he's still moving and his
Yeah.
body's
and
into
that's
the
why
joke.
that's why he's one of my faves. But I was gonna go back and hit a point with like it's context because even if
Right.
I have a white comedian say the N word, it depends on the context, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Robin Williams was so good.
Mhm.
Okay,
Rest in peace.
There you go. R.I.P.
And
That
in,
was- that
in
was a
my
hard one.
opinion, my Rushmore looked more like Pryor, Carlin, and Williams, right?
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay, definitely, without a doubt. And I gotta put in Fox and Cosby.
Danger. I would
I
say
said
sub
Cosby.
Cosby.
Whoa,
I'm
whoa.
not putting in
Sub
the B.
Cosby.
Why
Don't
not?
die on that hill.
There's no B, just Cosby.
Why not? Why not Cosby?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't
I'm
know.
sure some of them other motherfuckers.
Other motherfuckers was
Rush-
fucking bitches. Kevin be fucking 2 or 3 bitches with a wife at home.
Yeah, but not
It
by
doesn't
drugging
matter.
them.
Yeah, but
Not
here's
by
my thing.
drugging
Here's
them.
why. I just
Okay.
like- okay.
But we don't know what they do because he's the only one who got caught. Think about it.
Yeah.
Lord only knows somebody's gonna come out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Look,
Like,
you're Bill Cosby. You don't have to drug nobody.
That's the thing. Like you did not. Not only is it not right, but like
Nah,
you
it's-
didn't even have to.
You don't have to. You're Bill Cosby. Even if your schlong looks like Vern Troyer. Yo, my dude, you're Bill.
Rest in peace,
Fucking-
Vern Troyer. I love these dead people. Like that's like saying Abraham
You know why I
Lincoln,
go
rest
after
in
the
peace.
dead?
It's like Helen
Can't
Keller,
kill
rest in
me.
peace.
Okay.
We get the
What
death
Vern Troyer gonna
trifecta.
do?
Yeah.
Vern Troyer gonna come back and slap me in my forehead with his baby dick? No, get the fuck out of here.
I would, so dude, like these days as a comic, I wish I could just come out like the Ultimate Warrior and just like hit the stage, do my crazy shit,
Yeah.
get my moves in before anybody could complain, and get the fuck
Fuck
out
out.
of there before anybody could critique it.
But as I was
So-
saying, Robin
Yeah.
said the N word,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And yo, it was almost like skied over. Nobody said shit. There was no big, huge backlash. I'll tell you who did have the huge backlash.
Who?
Carlin. Because I feel like Carlin didn't even dip himself into the culture the way he should have did. You get what I'm saying? Like there was a, not to say he didn't, but there was a. It's like there was something he was missing.
Well, there were
and I
different
love
eras.
Carson.
There's
I think with
eras
different
of
eras.
Carlin, though. That's the thing.
Oh,
There's different
and
eras.
Robin.
Wait, what'd you say,
exactly.
Joe? What'd you
There's
say?
like different eras of Carlin. You know what I mean? Just
You
like
know-
there's different eras of
Yeah,
Pryor.
I give you
this was
that.
the
I-
70s,
I-
I think.
I think Carlin. Well, let me change this. The order.
And at the time.
I think,
For the
yeah,
time.
I think no,
For the
but
time.
I think
So
of a
Carlin-
new Carlin is almost like Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yes.
You watch his growth. You watch
Yeah.
the
That's
shit he's
interesting.
talking about. He's talking
Yeah.
about the whole outside society,
Society, yep.
the way the world is
Yep.
functioning.
Yeah.
That was Carlin's old bit. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? That was his whole shit.
After a while, that's
the
all
world
he
is
did.
this way. You're going to hell, and we don't care about this, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But if you look at Eddie Murphy to me,
Yeah.
is the product. It's almost like Pryor and Carlin had a bedfellow night,
Yeah.
and what came up was Eddie. Like Eddie to me, when you cut down Eddie and you dissect him,
Yeah.
what you get is a bleeding Richard Pryor and a bleeding Carlin.
I like this. So hold on. I want to
see that.
sidebar something real quick. So
Mhm.
you said oh shit. You said the Robin got away with saying the N-word.
Yeah,
And Carlin
remember how
Carlin
many-
caught backlash with saying it.
yeah.
Now to me, I see Robin, he was as a comedian, but as maybe PG-13 if I'm trying to clarify. Like most of his shit wasn't hard.
No.
Yeah, like
Was
Morgan
not.
Most of his shit wasn't
No, it was
hard.
not.
Popeye.
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
doing a lot of body.
Doubtfire,
Yeah,
like-
mimicking. What
But
they
we're
call it?
talking straight stand-up.
Right. Carlin was sitting there giving you shit you're gonna think about.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
niggas
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
train like calling themselves niggas, you know, or some shit like
Exactly.
that. That wasn't something you could see Robin saying. So, but
Yeah.
here goes to my main thing. If somebody wrote that same sketch for, George Carlin wrote that same bit that he got in trouble for a Robin, would we respect it the same? And how do you respect people who write for other people? Because a lot of people get writers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
everybody, and then they
Yeah.
all pull this shit together, and it's the shit we gonna go out with.
Yeah.
I think he would be branded as racist, man. I think because of
But
just
can we
the-
blame him?
delivery-
Because now, if he comes out, yo, I'm sorry. It was something that Kurt gave to me, and I thought it was sounded good when Kurt said it. So I figure I could sell it with the same energy. You get what I'm saying? So now you'd be like,
Yeah.
well, he's not really racist. It's just Kurt that.
Well, if you dig
this
into
is what-
anybody's anybody's past at all, especially a performer, of course, as a performer, you're gonna find stuff. Especially Robin Williams, because his style was so eclectic and so
Yes.
off the top of his head.
Yes.
He
Right,
was
and that's
pulling
why-
stuff in
yeah.
constantly.
And-
so he
and
got kind of a
I
pass.
felt like, but
You know?
again, I think part of Robin Williams' greatness was he skirted all that shit.
Yeah.
yeah,
He skirted all that shit.
because of how
He-
good a
yo,
performer he was.
Y'all
like-
want to talk about how Donald Trump Teflon? Robin Williams is Teflon. He was to me growing up. Like I have probably 10 comics where they influenced me greatly. Farley.
Yeah, I like.
Robin, because you
like
being a
Farley.
little kid, I couldn't watch SNL and understand what the hell oral sex was because Bill Clinton was on every day from
It's
like
true.
93 to like 98, and they would always talk. I was like, "Yo, oral care." When I put two and two together, I was about 7. I was like, "He got his wee wee sucked."
Yeah.
And you
You
said
left a
you're like,
stain on her
"Ew."
dress. Oh,
You're like,
that's the stain.
"Ew."
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
and then at 7 to put two and two together, be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sperm."
Oh, there you go.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
time I was 8, I was like, "Yo, that bitch is ungrateful."
Ungrateful.
I don't care. No, I really don't care. And y'all can throw me off the air for this shit. I'm gonna say it.
Do it.
I feel like Monica Lewinsky is the most ungrateful woman ever.
You stupid.
I know because
May-
you had a
maybe
president's
publicly.
dick in your mouth, and now after the president, I'm sorry, I would never get married.
She's privately
Whoever you
grateful.
marry,
She's
whoever-
privately grateful. I know it. There's
Yeah,
no
of
way
course
she
she
can
is.
be living in the
Because
way she's
whoever
living
you
and not be
marry after
grateful.
that is a
Yeah,
downgrade
like-
unless you're sucking the next president's balls. Okay, let's just be honest. She wasn't sucking the Bush's dick. She wasn't sucking.
Hey,
doors.
Obama, you went
Hey,
out
I don't know.
classic.
Like, look, something might
Obama
come
would've
out.
been like,
you know, I don't know.
nah, go that way.
But the thing is, like SNL, especially
Even Trump
like
a pass
Farley,
on her. She
dude,
too chunky.
Shut up.
like the SNL you were talking about. That's when like Phil Hartman was playing
Yes.
like Bill Clinton. So in the early
R.I.P.
90s,
to
right?
Phil. Yeah,
Phil-
now Phil's in my top 5.
Right. Phil
God,
Hartman was
there'll never
very
be another
underrated.
Phil.
Yeah.
But like SNL has always like their demographic has always been older baby boomers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even that's why guys like Adam Sandler, David Spade,
Yes.
Farley, we remember that cast fondly. But like at the time, they were not getting a good response
No,
by their
you're
crowd.
right.
And now all of a sudden,
Even Chris Rock. If
Adam
y'all remember Chris
Adam
Rock
Sandler
and
got
SNL.
fired off the motherfucker.
he got fired.
off the
Farley
Hitler
got
Chris
fired.
Rock. Remember that whole crew, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. It's the reason why Kevin James wasn't part of it because they were all the same kind of.
I was about to say that's too much of the same shit. Yeah, it was like you
and
had
they were all the
all
same
of it there.
crew.
Yeah,
And like
The Bad
they were
Boys, yeah.
so new.
yeah.
Like they
They were
didn't know what to
stand-ups.
do with Chris Rock.
They were
Right.
stand-ups.
They were like,
it was
yo,
like
very much.
exactly, and they were straight raw stand-ups.
yeah,
Right.
it was rare.
And they threw him into this shit, right? And especially
Mhm.
talk about like to me the thing that always sticks out was Chris Rock because he was like
1993, yeah, 3
Ah,
years,
yeah.
3 year run, 3 year
and
run.
he to me paved the way for somebody like Leslie Jones, where she went straight to sketch, straight to sketch, straight to sketch, and then they're like, nah, we got to put her in other shit. Oh, she can do a wicked Oprah. You know what I'm saying? It took for Chris's 3rd year where people were like, yo, this cat is funny. We just didn't have the exposure where we look at him, which is how he got his
I think they
specials.
didn't know what to do
do
with
with
him.
him.
Well,
They didn't.
because like
Just like they almost didn't know what to do with Eddie.
A
Eddie's
lot-
like the
Ah.
token black guy. The same thing I feel about what's the other dude? Oh,
who are we
fucking
talking about?
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
I
Tracy
agree.
Morgan was in the back of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a
I think
stand-up
he wrote
too.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But I remember him coming out, and I saw him when he was at the Bergen Pack. And since he lives over on Inglewood Cliffs or
I
whatever,
wanted to go to that.
and
I
he
missed it.
he was working on some shit and did a show there. And I remember him saying he just said it like a comment in passing. He was like, "Yo, when I was on SNL, they used to like pass up on a lot of the shit that I wrote."
Yeah, they have, they have a
and
habit
I
of
was
doing
like, I get it because they didn't know what the fucking to do with
Do
you.
with it.
that. They're
You
not
always
good with
like
stand-ups,
the
man. They
fourth
never
wheel,
have
or
been.
the fifth wheel.
They've never been good with stand-ups. Like,
No,
Not at all.
Starting from the very beginning, starting from like when Richard Pryor hosted the first episode, they created the 7-second delay because they were afraid of
Yeah,
what they're going to
what
say.
he's gonna
Like
say.
from the beginning, they were not equipped to handle a stand-up who's willing to go out there and say something that might be
Yeah.
risky. And as it came about, that's why they like getting people from the Groundlings and Second City,
Second
and
City,
UCB
yeah.
because they're like improv is different. And I love the improv is actually very, very good. That's where
Good,
Chris Farley
yeah.
started too. He was a stand-up, but
I
he was
like
more of an
Good
improv
City.
guy.
I
Yes, he
like
was.
good improv,
But like,
but at the same time, I
need
think
that
you need a
comedy.
bit of both to mix it in with it. You get what
Ah,
I'm saying?
have to.
Something to
my
throw
point,
it off.
exactly.
Something to throw it off because we all can't sit out there and throw shit out
Nah.
or what you envisioned in the writers' room may not sell on TV. And SNL, especially in those years, had a lot of misses. You know, shit
Oh.
that would come off and be like,
A
ah,
lot.
that shit died.
a
But-
lot.
And,
Nice try.
and going back to SNL, they found the formula now, right? It's a small.
I think
They're
they
going
found it,
younger
yeah.
all of a
It's
sudden.
a small.
All of a
stu-
sudden, they're trying to
okay,
go younger.
Exactly.
They
And
knew
it's-
they had to go
Because,
young.
well,
yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
you go younger, and you know why you go younger? All right, and even some of the people that have on there is old as fuck, but they act young as
Yeah.
fuck.
Mhm.
Right? Leslie Jones about 53. I'll bust 50. Leslie Jones. I'll take a bus to school.
I would never mess with Leslie Jones in any situation. I feel like
Fuck
she could
you,
stomp
I
on me. She
would.
could literally
Exactly.
stomp on me.
Yeah, she punched me in the face,
I
bro,
like
but I'm
that
good.
shit.
I'm good.
I would never
I
mess
also like
with her.
Serena and Alexis Ohanian.
Yeah, man.
There is no more perfect man than Serena. Like, I'm jealous, okay? Because I've been wanting Serena. And I was talking shit about Alexis
Yo.
Ohanian for forever. But there's no perfect. You talk about the perfect man, this motherfucker is it. And I hate the nigga for it, okay? He
Oh
is
my God.
so. Look, who takes out a billboard for his wife
Mm.
after she had a baby?
A motherfucking billionaire.
She don't
Motherfucker,
want my
that's-
ass.
Robin
She don't
Thicke.
want my ass after
Robin
this.
Thicke did that. He made his whole
Yes.
album named him after of
Yeah,
the
but
wife
he
that he
also
cheated on,
cheating.
and
Yeah.
then didn't. Now he's
Yeah, but
remarried,
this is what I'm hold on.
and his wife's next name is in his discography.
You gotta make up. You gotta make up.
You gotta play songs from that album. What if your new wife shows up at that show?
Oh, he got remarried.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got,
he
a new,
got
he got a
remarried.
new girl. I don't know if they married, but he got a new
His
chick.
last album's
Well,
name
he
is
had to.
Paula.
Yes.
That's his
yeah.
last. That's
with,
worse
with,
than
a,
a
with a
tattoo.
single cut on it just for Paula.
You
I
can
was like,
change a tattoo. You can't change an album name like
Yeah.
3 years after you put it out.
We
like
we would
actually,
call his new song
Nah.
Tracy.
No. I respect Robin because if you hear him in the, I think what did it was he screwed up in the interviews after releasing the album because it really didn't go to radio or
Nah,
anything.
dude, that shit was.
He
garbage.
put it out too quickly. He was like, he put it out too quickly. He was trying to get his woman back. And
But
that's
that's not the
exactly what it
way.
was. And it was an album like, look, I'm releasing this album to try and get you back. And she was like, nah, we've been together since middle school and you're going to leave? And I was like, if any time when he was supposed to go test something, it'd have been
Newsflash: any relationship from high school or any of fucking those elementary schools, that shit ain't gonna work, bro.
It worked for
it's
Corey
not-
and
get
Topanga.
Those ones, those singular ones.
He worked for Corey and
Like-
Topanga.
Fuck out of here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the honest truth: when you actually able to pull those people apart, and you actually, and I think you have a good, honest situation or good, honest talk with them, they're gonna tell you about, yeah, it was a whole years of my 20. I was fucking this other bitch,
Yeah.
the neighbor.
No,
you
you're
know
right.
what I'm saying?
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
decided to make it work because
Oh,
this
man.
bitch was sitting there talking about another kid, and I was like, nah, bitch, I'm good. I just
Dude,
wanted to
like,
go.
Have you ever been cheated on before?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, like
Well,
when,
that's
when I
yeah,
when
bro.
I found
That
out,
shit
dude,
hurt.
like I didn't even know what I was witnessing because it's not like I walked in on her. Like what happened was I went to go pick her up from work and I saw her come out of work. First of all, an hour late, and second of all, go into another guy's car. And
Oh,
we agreed that I
shit.
would pick her up that night. So like. I've been doing stand-up for 4 years. I've been playing guitar in bands since I was in 5th grade. I know a fucking performance when I see it. She wanted me to see that.
I was just
Like,
about to say, she did that shit on purpose.
Yeah, he's actually. You know, like there's
Yeah.
so much that you don't have to say if you just let me see something.
Yeah.
And even then, I didn't put it together. So like the
Ooh.
thing is, it hurts, man.
That shit stay with you, dude.
Oh, dude.
The word to Chris Rock. I never hit a bitch. But I shake the shit out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Nah, I had one worse, actually. I had a couple worse.
Oh boy.
But, well, fuck them. like,
Somebody
Living my
is
best
now,
life.
not you anymore,
you know
but
what I'm saying?
somebody
The
is.
bitch got herpes, the other one
God
got a
damn.
kid, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Well, you know what sucks though is
So
that-
you the
Y'all was
Neo?
dealing
You
with
dodging
devil dick
bullets?
for real.
you know what sucks though is like when they teach you something
Y'all
that you
got
still
shit
use.
that you got to keep
You
for
know?
the rest of
That's
your
your
life.
life.
And you know what? Here's the even best part about it.
Oh, boy.
I get to be a black man in his 20s who has his shit together with no kids. Okay? And you know what I'm going to do?
I'm gonna get me some IVF because if I find me a woman, I'm like, look, bitch, you come with baby daddy drama. I got no baby mama drama. I
Never
don't
had
even
baby
know my
mama
kid's
drama.
mother, nigga.
This might be a shock to everybody, but never had baby mama drama. Never. Like I never have. I just
Enjoy it. You ain't missing shit.
Nigga, wait till you blow up.
I wish I
about
did.
4 of them.
Like baby mama drama at least means that you got charisma. Like enough charisma to like say fuck it. I'll just come inside you and whatever fucking happens happens whether I got money or not.
That's
I
not charisma. That's just Russian roulette.
Yeah.
One
drunken night.
Or craps, yo. Because I put my shit up on the table many a night.
Bro, I'm telling you, like I've had sex unprotected, but I've never just blew it in a girl and hoped for 3 weeks that it didn't happen. Like I would never be able to get through it. I've had those tense, anxiety-ridden 3 weeks, knowing I wore protection, and I was still like, I don't know if I trust her. It was her condom, not mine. You know what I mean?
No, hold on.
You know, like,
hold
I
on,
don't
time out.
He was like, yo, this condom feel kind of loose.
like, is there a hole in it? No, it's cool.
I
Like-
agree with you, but I also feel like this. It is about to be 2020, okay? And if you're fucking,
Yeah.
and you cannot mess with somebody that can at least buy you that plan B, it's $40. If you can't come up with 20 and he can't come up with 20, you shouldn't be fucking, right? Like, yo,
Yeah.
$40.
At least not wrong.
Yo,
At least
I don't
not
even think
wrong.
it's taxed.
But can't
Like, yo, can somebody look up if it's taxed? Because if it's not taxed, there's even more incentive
True.
for you to get this fucking yo. Just buy them shits and keep them in your bag. I do it.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Yo,
if,
don't tell me you got
if you're a couple
bag
though,
of Plan Bs when you go to city.
if you're a couple though that you don't have $40 between the two of you, I can't think of a less stressful situation. You're gonna want to fuck, and you're gonna want to be like, you know what, life is treating me like shit. I'm just gonna take it for everything that it is. Like,
And that's what the fuck happened.
you know, that's
You
why.
know what,
like,
though? Like,
I'm
yo,
not
that's-
excusing
I got
it.
brothers
I'm
now.
just
What the fuck
explaining it.
happened?
Like, if you don't
They
have
think
$40,
the complete opposite. Yep. They're like, yeah, you know what?
you know, like it might
Nah.
as well. Like I've
Nah,
never done it.
I'm
but-
sorry, I don't see it. You got to be a little prepared. If you know you that type, yo,
That type.
well, yo, no,
That
no,
type.
deadass, if you know you
That's
that
a type.
I was like, what
buy
fucking
that
type
shit
is that?
beforehand.
Not my type. What type is that? The kind that
Son, it
doesn't
happens.
wear protection ever.
Sometimes you got the condom right there on the dresser, and you know shit just leads to. I always used to be like, how the fuck that happened? Till I seen it one night. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's,
But-
it's bad, dude.
But it happens. We get it. But if you look, there's too many preventative and then after the fact
Yeah.
methods.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything from anybody. Where I'm sorry. Can I at least get some welfare payments back in my fucking paycheck? I mean, come on, nigga. At this point, this is something you wanted.
Chappelle talked about this too. Like even if it's an
Have the
accident,
option. I love that joke,
Right?
and it was
Like-
so
I
many
love the joke 'cause
people.
it's truthful.
It
But
was
I've been
so many
doing that
people that
fucking
got
joke
so
for
mad
years.
on
Yeah,
You
he
heard
told me he did it.
Yo,
Like,
you
he
heard
told
me
me,
do that
like-
motherfucking joke because I did that
And
joke
he did
here.
that joke. Yeah.
like he did
And
it
the
bigger.
Michael Jackson
he did
joke
it
I
bigger.
did too. But the difference is I met Michael.
He did it bigger though. I'm just you can't hate him
Of
for
course,
doing it
it's
bigger.
fucking
Like,
Dave.
So you think he stole your shit? He
Oh,
was like, oh yeah, I got that one.
and it's
I would
insensitive.
wait. And
you
wait.
fascist thief. You fucking
He
Nazi
didn't know.
thief.
I know he
Like-
didn't steal it, but all I'm saying is I know Michael didn't touch them kids.
But that's thing we don't
How many
know.
times have I said no?
That's the other side of
I
that. You
know.
don't. You can't.
I met Michael Jackson. I know he did not touch them kids because I was dying for my dick to get sucked. I was little Billy. Okay. I was,
You might
it was
have been
yo,
an
I was
ugly
going to
ass
school
kid,
like,
though.
Yo,
You might have-
guys, don't say anything. These guys might get him in trouble.
Pull,
I'm
pull
not
up a baby
Aaliyah.
picture. Pull up a baby picture. Let's find out if you were ass ugly. If you were ass ugly, even if he's a pedophile, you
I
can't
was a
blame him for
cute-ass
not wanting to
little
fuck
kid.
you. Like,
I'm ugly
Yeah.
now, but
Like-
I was a cute kid. Nigga, I was definitely cuter than
fuck out
So
of here.
now
Fuck
we
outta here.
now we gotta
Yeah,
ask some
no, no, Home Alone.
pedophiles.
Fuck out of here.
Now we have to do a case study and find pedophiles, show them a picture of Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
and you, and we have to talk to these people because we have to try and figure this out. I
And
don't
I'm
want
more
to.
valuable. You know black kids don't talk.
Dude, Chris Tucker said that. Chris Tucker had that in a bit. He had a bit in his not recent, 2015, where he's like how kidnappers never take black kids because they're gonna ask too many questions. Like, Mr. Kidnapper, where we gonna eat?
See, mine was the opposite. After the offense is done, black kids is like, yo, we gotta just walk this shit off, man. Let's go to the ball field,
Yeah.
play some baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Chappelle
Maya
said that
Angelou wrote about it in their book, and she just kept living.
Dude,
They never brought it up again. And what happened? She became successful. I think maybe maybe in
That's true.
minority communities we might need to get molested a little bit more.
Shut the fuck up.
Just a joke. Just a joke. Just a joke.
Well, a lot
okay?
of you are
I
Catholic.
do not
so, you
mean
know,
that.
Like, there's a lot
You
of
would be
black
canceled.
Catholic
Be like,
people.
Kurt, yeah.
Been
your show-
there, done that.
your
I don't
show
want
is
to go
over,
back to
my
a
nigga.
finger in my ass.
What's the race on race crime with like is the pedophile thing strictly for white priests? Or does it? Or do
shit.
black Catholic priests do that too? Because I never.
You
seen
know, that's a
black
great
Catholic
question.
That's
priest
a great question.
get busted for it ever.
That's a great question.
I've never seen it. Like maybe they. I don't
I've
know.
never seen it either.
I
I've never
think I
seen
have
any
an
other one
idea.
besides white ones. Yeah.
I think the black ones are just raping. They just haven't got their Me Too movement yet.
Raping what, women?
Yeah.
with priests.
Yeah.
Why would they be
Yeah,
holding
I'm
back
gonna tell.
now?
Hold on. We talk
Because
about this.
They
Hold on.
don't take a. They take a. They, like nuns. From what I understand, nuns take a oath of chastity.
Yes.
Mm.
Priests
But
do not.
Depends.
It's
Some,
something-
some
It
priests
depends.
can.
Yeah, it's some
Yeah.
depends what
There's
level
a
or
lot of
what
them.
breakdown.
Tongue-in-cheek about the
It's supposed to
priest,
be the same of it too. But here's a funny story. So when I worked at the bank, right, I used to work at TD Bank over in Secaucus.
Nice.
Anybody familiar with Secaucus?
It's mostly an industrial wasteland. It's like
You
nothing
got
but factories.
You got it. Yeah,
smog.
one side is this, and
It's
you
like-
got a little
And
small
then they
side
got the
of
train
that.
station.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
And like an
This
oil
shit was an
service
accident,
place, like-
They got Amazon, Google there, shipping
Dude.
shit out.
So check it out. They had like two little Asian Happy Time parlors, right? Classic. Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
classic Asian. You better watch it, man, because that's what's getting people kicked off SNL now. Talking about classic Asian, happy, you're canceled.
Yeah. Well, fuck it. Good thing I didn't audition. So it was two spots, right? Little Happy Time massage spots, right? You know, they hook you up, jerky, sucky, fucky, right? Here's the deal. They would come in and bank with us. So I used to be at like the main bank on the strip. They would come in and bank, and money was coming and going.
Yeah.
They would tell me the story of how the one of the priests. So I got really cool with one of the massage ladies there. And she
Really
was
cool
coming.
with one of the massage
yeah.
ladies.
I didn't fuck her, but it was really cool.
All right. I had
Was
to
there
ask.
a happy ending?
I had to
Nah,
ask.
nah.
When you
You
get
ain't gonna
really
admit
cool
that
with
I
a
was
shit.
cashing her.
massage lady,
Look here, I was cashing her checks because she didn't have no American ID, so she was cool with me. So that was it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure she was.
really cool with a
You
massage
said enough
lady.
right there, son. Ain't you married?
Like, if really cool with a massage lady isn't fucking, then what's what's
Yeah,
okay with? You know what I mean? Like what's okay?
Well,
Fuck
just
it.
tickle my
Fucking is work for
balls.
her. Fucking is work. You know what I mean? That's like, hey, it's no business.
She
You
just
get your
tickled
check
my
straight.
balls. Baby, here's an extra 60. Where'd you get that from? Work?
Extra.
So she would tell me how the fucking priest from the church down the street would come down that motherfucker. She was like, yeah, he one of my best clients.
Yeah,
You know,
dude.
weird
Catholic
thing.
priest?
Catholic
Yeah.
priest. Rabbis
Hands
too.
down, like like they would go
Hasidic
make a
people too.
visit, and he would be straight in the fucking gear,
I know
the
that.
the
Hasidic
little
people
white
too.
shit with the
And walk up in there?
Not all of them, but like
roll in there, bro. Roll up in there, but like, hey, I'm here to bless.
in New York, man, when they
And
used
rock.
to have those booths, those booths that
Yeah.
people used to jerk off in.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
It was Joey Diaz talked about this
Yeah.
on the
I
church.
mean, yeah.
The church, what's
Yeah.
happening now? Like, because he was, his family grew up in between Jersey and New York. and
Yeah.
they were in Cuban parts of all these neighborhoods, and there were these booths. That's just the way the city was. That's what parts of Jersey were like. Because Jersey is just like you don't have enough money to be in the city anymore. That's
Yeah,
what
pretty
Jersey
much.
is. So
Pretty
like,
much.
That the Hasidic
never
people
had
were
it
going there, rubbing one
Really?
out. Like, I remember my class took a trip because I went to this Jewish school, like this high school, and they took us on a trip to fucking Canada, Quebec.
Yeah.
And they were just blasting techno. It was like a stereotype of just techno Europeans just going on the streets
Yeah.
of Quebec, like just party because it
Party.
was the Crushed Ice Festival. It's this winter sports
Ah,
festival, so
yeah.
just partying. And I remember it was kind of it was an Orthodox school. The guy, the rabbi that was leading our class, he was like, I guess the head chaperone. He was leading us, and he got married 2 weeks before. I shit you not. Before we made it back to the bus that night, he was dancing with two of the hottest girls.
Believe
I
it,
can't even
dude.
remember what they look like. I just know I'll never
You
have
never
to, 'cause
forget-
I'll never be able to good enough to get them. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not-
it. You never. Yeah, that's
like,
it. You
they're
always
just so
have that
above my
image
level.
with you.
But this
Yeah,
guy was
dude.
dancing, and it wasn't like he was like groping them or anything like
No.
that. It was just like, but you're not even allowed to allude to being a human being with sexual desires or anything like
Yeah,
that. You
man.
gotta cut that out, and like you could cut it out of your routine, but you're not cutting it out of your brain.
Yeah.
That's why pedophiles
Yeah.
never heal. You're not cutting the part that's making them do that
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
You know,
And
That's
I do
tough.
believe them because it's born like that. We need to isolate that gene, find all the motherfuckers with that shit, and shoot them.
You lead that up, man. Lead that up. I
I
agree,
would
but I
be
can't
the
do it.
first
Like I can't do it. I
person-
agree, but I can't do
I'm
it.
gonna ask a stupid. I'm a parallel it to what we were just talking about earlier. If LGBTQ, I probably fucked that up, but if those people, the whole group, all of them, feel they were born that way, How come a pedophile can't use the same shit? I'm
And
not
they
saying
do.
the shit is
They
right.
do.
do.
And
You
believe
get
it or
what I'm
not,
saying? How
They
come
do.
they,
and
how
I'm
come they
gonna
can't be
stand-
like,
and I
yo,
stand- no.
And
you
they're
get
not
to cut
wrong.
your dick
I-
off,
I-
you
No,
get
I-
to do this,
Okay.
and you
I
get to
don't
say
know,
that,
because
and I
there
can't
isn't-
go.
I don't know because there is
You know
no
what I mean?
scientific proof. But
I'm
many
with you.
of them
I'm with
do
you.
say they
They
were
do.
born like that.
Right.
I believe them. Who am I to disbelieve them?
Right.
Now, I want some concrete evidence. Please find that gene. Let's isolate it and figure out how we can. Hitler was right about one thing when he was doing his little genetic, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? How fucked up it was and how he was doing it was disgusting. If he would have just been using that for pedophiles, I'd have been cool with it.
But where would that fit in the Nazi
And
agenda?
child molesters.
We're gonna kill Jews
And rapists.
gypsies, but by
No,
the
no,
way,
no.
we're gonna cure
No,
pedophiles.
Jews and
Like, how
gypsies-
would that have gone? Like
Jews and gypsies to the left, you're cool. Okay, pedophiles and rapists
They
to the
wouldn't have
right.
needed as many
You're the
camps.
ones we need to.
like if you got
Please
all the
lobotomize.
pedophiles in the world
You
in
know what
one
I'm
room, you like there's probably like maybe let's say there's like I hate to say there's a million pedophiles in the world, but let's say there's a million.
There's
That-
way more than that shit.
Real? Do you think there's more than a million
course.
pedophiles in the world?
Yo,
Pedophiles?
Yeah.
In the world? Yeah, dude.
yeah.
Yeah,
You,
maybe
you know,
you're
because
right.
here's the funniest thing.
Maybe
when
you're
you
right.
go,
Gotta be
you're
at
right.
least a
when you
billion.
go to the like the
A
East,
billion.
I'm fucking with you.
A billion.
when you go to like East Asia,
Yeah.
that shit is regular.
regular.
Yeah.
That's
Certain
what I'm
parts
saying.
are
That's
like
what-
where they don't really monitor shit, like in the Middle
I would
East
say
where it's
upload
not.
to
Yeah,
800 million.
that shit is regular. Like they don't
Because
give a
when
fuck.
I think of pedophiles, I think of places like Singapore, Thailand,
Where they let that shit go.
The Philippines, where they go and there's entire strips down there, and it's like guys that you know don't even live down there, but they find themselves down this alleyway
Yo,
in a room where they
There are
have
whole
sex with these
websites.
kids.
There's whole websites dedicated to like sex vacations,
Yeah.
and they talk about DR gets down like that.
Yeah.
With us for cash, dudes be like, I ain't
Jamaica,
gay, but I'll suck you, fuck you.
hedonism.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
true.
They talk about all the Caribbeans. They talk about all that shit. Where that shit,
It
it's
flies.
goes, and
Like,
I'm like, that's fucking.
That little girl that it was Madeline McCann. Remember her? Her family was in like Aruba or something. There's a Netflix documentary that came out about it recently,
see
but the crux of the whole thing was that this little girl, she was like a 6-year-old white girl. She went missing from her family when they were on vacation. They were eating dinner. They weren't there watching them sleep, but they watched them go to sleep and they went to dinner. And this girl's never been found. And this was brought up then, but the thing that kind of ruined it, and this is why it's hard for people to even unite on things that we can all agree on, like not liking pedophiles and things like that. It's that it became more about this wealthy white family who could, like, because of their influence, which is probably unfair that they have as much influence as they did, they kept her name in the headlines. But she's legitimately missing. She was kidnapped.
I remember that.
She was witnessed being taken down the road by somebody, and the people, they were all on
Twist
vacation.
your mic.
Exactly.
No, twist your mic.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
you
bad,
got
my
it.
Twist the mic.
I was like,
Exactly.
he's
They
like,
twisted
yeah.
the mic on this little girl.
Twist this
Like,
motherfucker.
that there's- but you know that's
No,
what it
you're
became
right.
about, and that
I
the
remember
thing is,
that.
if like I got into it on Facebook with somebody the other day, and what it became more about is that this guy genuinely thinks I was racist, and at some point I brought up Boko Haram kidnapping like a mess of schoolgirls in an African country a few years ago, just to kind of make a point, because the whole time he's just arguing about how he's offended and how I'm racist, and so he's offended. Even I'm not even that kind of comedian. Like Kurt, I mean, you know, like I was gonna say Kurt's that kind of get
and
Kurt,
having a brain tumor when I was younger gets you away with a lot of shit.
and you know, like.
I'm kind of
To
retarded.
be fair, though, I gotta say though, this guy, like, he happened to be black, but he was so light skinned, I didn't
Yeah.
know. He looked like a white guy with
So he was
dreadlocks.
white.
He looked like a white
I
guy
love
with
the fact that you dreadlocks.
said that. He was like kind of
didn't
white
know.
guys
I
can't
didn't know I
tolerate
was arguing
light-skinned
with him.
niggas. Yo, none of us can.
His hair was
I-
kind of straight.
I
was like,
never
oh,
met
shit.
him. I look at his
How you
profile
doing?
picture. I'm like, okay, he seems like a white guy with dreadlocks. But after a while, it came about that, you know. And so I didn't, you know. But at the end of the day, it became more about he was offended that I even brought up the girls then the girls being missing. He was offended that I brought them up because he thought I was using them as a meat shield for racism. And I'm like,
yeah.
how important is your wrong point? But
Yeah.
how important is this wrong point of view that you're not even talking? And the legitimate missing girls, I think only like 30 of, like there was like 100 that got
Yeah.
kidnapped, like 30 of them
They
were
have-
located.
have
Yeah.
been located.
Yeah.
We
And-
don't know where those other girls are.
And he ignored that to keep reiterating his point and get his boys to like get on my post and back him up instead of like, and that's it. It didn't come back to them. Of that whole post, I was the only one that brought up other people.
It was you were the token white guy, unfortunately.
That's-
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, how dare you,
You know?
whitey?
Like,
You know what I mean? And it's sad, and it's a hard thing to do. even when you make great points and you have like good ideas, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to come across and sell at
It's true.
on that thing.
And you gotta
can
watch
have
it.
all the fucking proof in the world, and you need it just to even put that shit out there, and then somebody's still gonna tear you apart for some stupid shit.
Yeah, man. I didn't
I
want to play
was
the Jew
You know
card.
what's funny? I was
you know?
waiting for some backlash
On what?
because I had posted something.
I think I lost 16 friends over it. Like,
Yeah, I know,
okay.
right? And all of a sudden,
Like,
like,
out
oh,
of
Joe's a
5,000?
racist. Fuck this fucker. Like, wait,
All
what?
right.
Nah,
Nah.
it was I posted about mass shootings. right?
Okay.
And
I don't know if I saw this. What was that about?
see, a lot of
What was
it's
this about?
funny. It's funny. People always want to talk about the issue, but never want to look into it, like statistically.
Now, there you go. Now you want to something.
And I'm just gonna come out and say that I'm a black man in this country. Most of those mass shootings have
White
been
guys.
done
White
by
guys.
black men. No, by
Really?
black men.
Really?
We forget that the standard for a mass shooting is 4 or more.
Okay, so it's based on that metric.
So a lot of these domestic issues. Now, what makes the media?
Wait, hold on.
sensation
Go
behind
back.
it,
Go back. What's 4 more? What do you mean by 4?
four people killed in one setting.
Okay.
alone,
Okay. So 4 people killed by the shooter.
Guys,
Yeah,
who
or
came
more.
up with
In
that
one
definition?
setting.
Like, there's only
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
in one
Sorry,
setting.
only 3.
Ah, this is
Clean
all-
up
yeah.
his brain.
Yeah, that shit is kind of
There's only
fucked up.
3 people
Triple
here.
homicide. Now it's
Like-
a terrorist act.
There's only 3. Look, is that?
It's
Look,
3.
that's the same guy. It's just in 3 pieces. Like it's still 3 people here. I'm sorry.
Turn the corner. Now it's domestic terrorism. He's got Bert and Ernie. 5. Like,
Now it's a
you know what I'm
mass
saying?
shooting.
Like, I'm not making light of it.
No, but I
But
get you.
most
Go
of
ahead.
it is black males. Why don't we hear this shit?
I don't know, man.
Now,
hold on.
wait.
I don't know, man.
Go ahead.
You have
Go
the
ahead.
media.
I don't
wanna-
know. man.
I
I don't know if
the
I'm
media.
with you on that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we
when
went
you
on
have
one
the
finish.
media- No. We call it fair. When you have the media, a lot of those gentlemen that are doing those are white supremacists.
The
So they
ones
should
who are
be
way
called out.
over the 4 mark.
Yeah,
Way,
okay,
because
or-
they
yeah,
should
all right,
over the 4
especially
mark.
with the assault rifles. That's
Yes.
the other element to it. Okay, where
Okay.
they have automatic assault rifles or automatic weapons, regardless if it's an assault rifle or not.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that element, which that's what helps catch fire for the media. But overall, we're still then looking at it. We're not looking at all of these mass shootings and saying we need to do something about the mass shootings. We're only looking at a specific tier. And not for nothing, for you to dissect it and take it apart and cure something, you
Yeah.
have to be honest about it.
True.
And what kind of microaggressions are in what's usually male, predominantly white, black, and Hispanic males?
Okay.
Right? Because I'm sorry, I've never seen a little Filipino guy shoot shit up. Okay? Out of
Here.
Here. In our society, in our context.
Right.
A young Chinese man, I've never seen that.
Well,
So
Virginia
what's the-
Tech. He wasn't
Oh, you're
Chinese.
right.
He wasn't
You're right.
Chinese. But
Did he
Oh.
get 4? Because now we can't be saying
he
mass
got like
shooting.
35.
Oh, he did? Okay. All right. Yeah, it's
he
okay.
got a lot.
Okay.
And he was not Chinese, you're right.
You're not yeah, I
but
forgot
let
what
me
he
just
was.
spread it, a young Asian or Indian men.
Gotcha.
Yes, we have our one-offs.
Gotcha,
I'm not
gotcha.
saying we don't. Okay?
Gotcha. I'm with you.
But there's something particular with the 3 largest groups in this country, okay, which is black, white, and Hispanic males. Because you don't really see women doing it.
That's true. Mass shooting, even terrorism, it's very rare that's a female terrorist.
But
it happens
let's
occasionally.
not throw one under the bus when there's a palement with men. So maybe what needs to be done is men need to be trained with guns, understand, okay. Look,
But
I'm
which
not, I'm
men?
not a
Like
gun.
teachers
I'm not a
or
gun
like-
person. I'm
like-
not a gun person. But
Okay.
it
Well,
seems to
men.
me when we've lost the respect for understanding our weapon is
That's
when
true.
this increase in homicides have happened.
So, do you think we should get rid of, like, if you're not a policeman or something, you shouldn't have all these types of weapons?
Well, cops are loose too with,
Deep
with
down-
their
now, I'm with
firepower,
you right
know,
there.
like-
There's a lot
Not
of
all of
loose
them.
motherfuckers
You know,
there.
like-
That's
But
the
but
issue
here's
as
my
well.
deal. Now, but Joe Schmo can't just walk up in a Walmart, you know, and kill me. We know when Officer
That's-
John
Yo,
done lost it,
have
and
a
he just
handgun.
he
Yeah.
takes it over.
I think everyone should. If you want to have a handgun, that's for you.
But should you have 100 handguns?
Okay, no.
You get what I'm saying?
You need
There's some
one-
people with fucking arsenals.
You
Just
need
sitting there
one.
like, dude,
It's
I'm
true.
about to punish her and payback.
It's
this
true.
You
You
need
motherfucker.
one with 12 or 16 in the chamber. There's not no more than 12 people coming into your house. Okay,
I know, right?
Yo, what the fuck is it? A clown car? Like, do you need?
You know what I'm saying?
And I hate hunters, man, where they're like, I needed to hunt. I'm like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, if you need a submachine gun
Yeah.
to hunt, you suck at hunting. You
No,
shouldn't be
no,
hunting.
my
Like,
thing
what
about
are
it
you
is,
killing,
like,
dude?
Quite
What the
frankly,
fuck are
I
you
think
killing?
the only time hunting should be done is if there's an overpopulation in a certain animal.
Right.
Besides that, I don't want to hear it called a sport. Nigga, there's two ways to a sport. A game, there's points to it. I
Okay.
can't see a fucking, ferret scoring back saying, "Oh, we got him, we got him."
Yeah, but hunting ferrets not game.
You know what I'm saying?
When you're talking about game, you're talking about like, hey, I'm gonna go hunt a lion for sport.
Right.
Like, come on, like, what kind of
It's
like
only fair if
grizzly
the
man
lion is
shit are
allowed
you
to
on?
eat your ass back.
You know what I mean? You want to go? Why don't you just go hang out with the lions for a little bit without a gun and see?
True.
It's ridiculous.
Yo, let me explain to you. If I was Dr. Doolittle, I would have gone to the Serengeti with weapons. I'd take fucking payment in chipmunk. I don't give a fuck.
You thought about this before.
Oh yeah, I have.
You thought about this
Give it
before.
a-
Yeah, you got a long, hard
There's so many
I would have
people.
trained all
like-
them
I'm gonna
motherfucking
kill them.
lions and brought their ass back and take their ass right to some neighborhoods. I know.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guy with an army of lions is still gonna get blown to shit by
Shit,
some helicopters and stuff. Like, I
exactly.
got my lion. Oh shit, they've all been game hunted.
Exactly.
Kind of like there's an episode in Family Guy where they're hunting deer. And there's a fucking deer just sitting behind them with a gun.
Right.
And it's like, you want to go
Love
ahead and
that.
shoot that? Yo, nothing made me more happy than to watch this shit. Because I'm like, how unfair is it?
I get you. I get it. I'm with you.
You a bitch if you have to shoot something that
Yeah.
can't shoot you back. I'm sorry.
It's true, but no one's arguing that. It's just a matter like sometimes the cops aren't even gonna really. First of all, my parents fought my entire life. They still do. We've called the cops before many times. It never made anything better. Sometimes you need the cops, but it never worked out
always makes it
those
worse.
things. It always does. That's first of all. Second of all, the cops when they show up, they're not gonna 100%. Maybe now because it's become so commonplace for
Right.
these shootings to happen. But like, I think one that kind of proved Stone Douglas, I think, or Stoneman Douglas. I think it was in Florida, or I forget. But there's so many shootings now.
Yeah.
But there was a cop there that he was famous because all he did was show up in his cop car and set up a perimeter. Now that guy should never have been a cop. I imagine before this thing happened, the shooting happened, he
Yeah.
never, he was fat, just like a bad cop you think he would be. You know what I mean? But like,
Hit all the
all he did was set up a
stereotypes.
perimeter to listen to people getting killed from. That's what his perimeter was.
Wow.
So like cops, the good cops, which is most of them, like we have to admit, like
Yeah,
that
most of them are
by
great
s-
cops.
by metrics,
Absolutely.
just by the amount of numbers of
Absolutely.
cops working every day, you
Yeah,
have to admit
absolutely.
mathematically most
Where
of
they
them are doing a
become
good job.
bad is when they start fucking being complicit and,
Yeah.
picking up and defending your homeboys that you know are doing wrong. That you should be like, that's my issue.
But
we
you know
need
what,
to
to
break up
me-
the brotherhood of it.
But you know what? To me, that's the low hanging fruit. You know, a bunch of people loitering. 9 times out of 10, somebody's fucking around doing something or got something on them.
I always bought.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time I loitered, I bought weed.
Grab. It's
Dude.
the easiest fucking grab.
Every time I've ever loitered anywhere, I'm waiting for someone to come and meet me to sell weed.
And that's my
Always.
point. So either you get caught before or after the act. Before the act, you cool. All right, keep rolling. After the act, motherfucker, I got a bag on me. You know what I'm saying?
you
All
go.
it takes is me just to piss them off.
Yep.
You have to make the thing, the distinction. To me, with your shooter, if you go by that metric, and I'm with you, that's the old standard
Like
metric.
4 or more.
4 or more. That's really light. You get what I'm saying?
And
4,
I agree with you.
that's really light.
I
And
agree with
now,
you.
now here's the deal.
I don't agree with that definition myself.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying you don't, but because then of course it's gonna be a lot of minorities. Because you know what? What do we give to a lot of minorities? A place to hang out somewhere, a bar, a restaurant, a cantina. You get what I'm saying? Of course, Angry George is mad because this bitch is sucking somebody else's dick. You get what I'm saying? You gonna come
Yeah,
in that
bring
bitch
enough
too?
money.
Pop, pop, pop. Shit.
That's
didn't mean to kill
Hold
that
on,
mass
wait.
motherfucker. I'm not a mass
No,
shooter.
but you
No.
see, Jeff, hold on. I'm talking to our producer. That's where having common sense comes into play.
The shooter?
Don't
Or who-
fucking
who's
get
happening?
married. The fuck are you? Yo, you can't be mad at the bitch if she's sucking somebody else's dick when she's not your bitch. You know why? Because you can go ahead and suck her sister's coochie. Okay, it works every time.
Whichever way the fuck it goes,
I love the way you're like, I'm just gonna roll through that and get back to what I said.
whichever way
Like
it
there is so
goes.
much I'm not touching there.
I'm sick and tired of hearing you men bitch and complain about your wife sucking some other man's
But
dick.
think
Be
about-
happy for your girl.
No,
what
but
the
think
fuck
about
is wrong
it.
with you?
You stupid.
No, I mean that's.
Be realistic.
Yeah.
Come on.
I-
It
yeah,
works.
yeah,
I want somebody else not coming out and tell my wife. I want my wife to be like, "Good job, baby." You know
No,
what I'm
you
saying? Let me
First
pat
of
you on
all,
your back.
are
Are we
Yeah.
married? Are you referring to me? what do you think
You
I
don't
was
mind
doing
if I
while I
fuck
was
with the
waiting
bitches
for you
on
to
your
get
Yeah,
there?
exactly. Like,
Like,
fucking
go,
suck
go
it.
You
back,
get
go
married,
back.
Joey. Just let me fuck other bitches.
Fine. Fine. I want half this podcast.
yeah, exactly.
Go back.
Whatever he
man.
gets on this shit is mine. Just pass it to me. But it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to manage. You know, I think they really got to define the thing. I think it's a gun control thing because not everybody should have a gun. Not every cop
Agreed.
should have a fucking gun. Not every fucking regular Joe Schmo should have a fucking gun
Agreed.
because they don't know what to fucking do with it. And if you're talking about respect for your weapon, these motherfuckers got hundreds and don't give a fuck. You got
And this
shit
is
that
what
gets
I'm
out of
saying.
hand.
This needs to be taught in school, like taxes. Okay, like
I'm gonna be honest.
budgeting.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a big thing to do with mental health too. I think I think
Yeah.
if we're gonna
Agreed.
keep scapegoating
Yeah.
mental health, then you
Agreed.
gotta go for the gun control.
You have to.
You get what I'm
And
saying?
that's my thing.
I'm like, yo,
I
what the fuck?
honestly believe, and this is something I truly believe,
All right.
is that every 2 years you should be tested to drive and have your eyesight tested, right? Every 2 years your eyesight is tested. But every 2 years you should be tested to drive.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen in 2 years with your faculties, right? And you
Yeah.
have that license damn near for life, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
bullshit. Well, the same thing needs to occur with a gun. You cannot just buy one. It should be on a federal database.
They don't have like a,
Okay.
a test like that because my brother he's worked with firearms. I can't say exactly what he does, but he's worked for
Depends
police.
on the state.
Yeah,
they-
I was
they
about to say
keep
the
'em.
states have
It
changed the
depends
laws
on
now.
the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because some places you can have a gun. I
Yeah.
believe like Texas, you don't ever have to walk back.
Well, the Midwest is to me fast and loose compared to like
Detroit,
New Jersey.
I was shocked.
It's
Detroit,
crazy.
I was absolutely shocked with. I thought Detroit was west for me, and I didn't even cross the Mississippi like that.
Yeah.
Right. So
When were you in
open
Detroit?
carry. I did a show out there once. It wasn't a big show, but I go out there. It was a terrible time. It was disgusting. Like the city is not for me. I don't know
well,
what.
Detroit is dirty, bro. I mean,
I
I
never
don't
been,
even want to say
man. I can't
dirty. I
say.
just it's not.
It's so
Yeah.
weird that they still have a hockey team, like an ice hockey team.
Yeah, that's like all
they-
they have, dude. Like what the
There's like
fuck?
entire
people-
neighborhoods that look like Luigi's abandoned mansion, and you got all these Russian guys coming to play for the city of Detroit. Like this makes no goddamn sense.
But what's crazy is nobody from Detroit says they from Detroit. They all say they from like New Windsor or some shit.
Yeah.
They all
like,
say,
across the-
I'm
Some
across
suburb.
the river.
Yeah.
It's like a big ass lake. Yeah, I'm across the river.
Where do you
Yeah.
live? Over there, way
Like,
over there.
Next to
Yo,
Flint,
I
not
know-
Flint, but next.
Google Maps says that Canada. Nah, bruh. Nah.
It's just before Canada,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just before.
Yeah,
That's
like nobody.
it's a
Because
flat
Detroit
land.
is so
I never been.
shitty. It's and they've like renovated it. They redid it, but it's still shitty. Like you know what I'm saying?
because nobody's there. Nobody's
Yeah.
putting any money into it.
No,
When those
there's-
car
there's-
companies left, they fucked them.
Yeah, there's no
the
there's no industry.
entire
No industry.
You got
that
no economy.
entire
They said,
lake
the
system.
economy is down.
all 5 of them lakes, around that whole area, it's down because
Yeah.
they took all the plants from there.
Yeah.
And at least if you look,
Took all.
I'm-
Oh, the I thought you
car
meant like
plant.
The
plants.
car
Like, yeah,
plant.
man, they took every tree right out. They're like, fuck the planet. They're like,
like I'm all
We
about.
need paper, bitch.
I'm
Let's
all
go.
about. I don't think we should be doing coal
I like
at all. I think it's stupid to be investing in it. I think it's stupid. to
Coal
be-
is dying.
okay, right?
Dude, it was-
coal is done.
Coal
it
is
would even be a
dying.
subject
But what
that
you
Donald
do-
Trump
no,
didn't
no,
bring
no.
that up.
And that's the
No.
thing, yeah.
But what you do is you don't tell people you're taking their job and don't give them nothing in return.
you gotta give
That's
them
the
skills.
dumbest shit. No, I'm going to make sure you get these credits, that school is free, so that you can go ahead and put in, panels, solar panels, learn how to install those things.
You don't have to move back with your parents in the
Right?
fucking meantime.
No,
Like,
no.
you know, maybe a
We're
little
going
bit
to
of
take
help.
care of that stipend.
Yeah.
No.
like if you're going to
Right?
school, how are you gonna have time to work too? Like I mean, a lot of
My-
people do that. Most people do that. I've
Motherfucker,
done
I
that.
do it.
I know,
So
but
hold
it's not
up,
easy.
but
Nigga, hold on. Get the fuck out of here. Let me explain something to everybody. And
yeah.
the shit that always gets on my nerve,
All
okay?
right, I hit a nerve.
I gotta go to
I
go
hit
to
a
the
nerve
gym
with
You're a
it.
big one.
I hit
at
it.
least
I've been-
3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, go ahead then.
I charged them up, and now it's gonna. I'm like, all right, I better get ready.
Like, yo,
Okay.
hit it, bro.
Right? I work during the day. I got a day job.
Yeah.
Okay. And a little 8 to 5. Okay. You looking at this nigga like he's crazy. Yeah. Okay.
I love how you went off to the side like, yo, man. Roll my sleeve up. I gotta find a vein.
Is
bitch.
this a leading one? Is this illegal?
Okay.
Good
Then
thing we're not in New
after
York.
every day of work, I'm always doing some sort of comedy, right?
Yep.
All right. And I'm shooting my podcast right now as we speak, right? Okay. I got to do homework because I'm also in school.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm not doing comedy, I have my classes to go to. And if I'm lucky, all right, 3-4 nights a week, I hit up a bitch and I finger pop, you know what I'm saying? Get to looking on the coochie. After that, I can hit for
You're in your
2.
20s and a good night. Like, I'd rather, if I'm friends with a girl, we're friends. If I end up having sex with a girl, we have sex. But the fact that, like, if it just goes to fingering and I'm 27 years old, I'm like, I don't even want that. I would rather just be friends.
I came over to finger bang you. What the fuck is this?
It's in between too familiar and not familiar enough. That's like, I don't want this.
Listen, son. Okay, well, you're sitting there in the car. Your hand slides down. Okay, fuck you.
Oh, no,
all right?
bro.
The same
That's not
technique has
safe.
worked in
Yeah, no.
2003. All right?
safe.
I'm not changing now. All right?
Live your life, man. Just don't be racist.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Joe. That's why my shit has been quite frequent and yours is in.
There's just like
Start
5
finger
people
popping.
in Paramus that are sure that we're racist, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like,
Hands down.
and the irony is not lost on me, man. A Jewish guy and a black guy, we could be the most racist people on this, and we're being called out by white people. Like, how? Like,
Yeah, they're always the real racist ones.
it makes no sense.
Yo, you know what I never understand? How the fuck do you have a Jewish son-in-law? Now I know, like, all that shit don't really mean shit to nobody. Religion don't mean shit to politicians. I'm gonna explain.
It never
And you
did.
hear a whole bunch of motherfuckers yelling, niggas need to die, and Jews will not replace us. First off, Jews aren't trying to replace nobody. If you know anything about fucking Jews, they never asked you to go shit with them. They got their religion. They don't fucking ask you to join. No, they're not like the Muslims or the Christians, okay? They force you into their mosque and church. But Jews stay the fuck off on their own, all right? They're not trying to replace you. They're trying to say the fuck to themselves.
Allow me to explain that.
Yeah, I was
because,
about to
like, so what he means is,
Put the big asterisk.
like, is this your first? This isn't even the
Clarify.
first episode. You're fired. Just like, saying that. But like, no, what he
I'm
means
gonna
is
get
that
kicked
like
off the air for sure,
on
nigga.
your own show. But like, what he means is that in Judaism, there's only a few different sects of Judaism. I know there's like 2,000 of Christianity. I don't know about
Yeah.
how diverse Islam is, but with Judaism, the idea is that when you try to convert, it's on the job of the rabbi to actually convince you not to. Like, I was always taught that, and I was in black hat, Cyburn, religious,
Yeah.
Hasidic schools, and I was in modern Orthodox, and eventually I left that world altogether. But like,
Yeah.
down to all of those, it was a common denominator. Like when someone's coming in, you almost not even almost, you discourage them because like we're pretty much saying like, look, there's a reason why Jewish people seem to be everywhere, but there's not that many of us because we've been kicked out of fucking everywhere. Or we left before it got too bad. Like my mom and her family's from Spain and Morocco. We
Yeah.
got kicked out of Spain in 1492. Like
I mean, yeah.
you go anywhere and that's the case. And you know, I'm not going to complain. Like,
I hear
okay, we
you.
ended up in an okay place in American society, but you got to remember, like, things were actually okay for the Jews in Germany too for a long time. in
Yeah.
that
I was about to
region.
say.
To
yeah,
the point, where,
Everybody
like, they
forgets
didn't-
that. Yeah.
They didn't really fight it for the most part. They
No.
they went with it until, that's another.
You-
thing
you know
coming.
what
It's
it
funny
is?
though. I learned this in school, and the
Yeah.
thing that I learned, the nasty, it's one of the most disgusting. It's not a slur, but just thought about racism, like with Jews.
Yeah.
About the money thing.
Yeah.
They always gravitate towards money. They're always in money. They're always in banking.
Yeah.
They never met me. They never met me.
But do you know how that got there?
Kurt tried to buy me food last week. He's like, "Are you sure you're not hungry, man?"
You know, and it was so funny because I had an Islamic teacher teach me this shit. This is
Yeah.
why it fucking meant something to me. It was the Christians that couldn't touch money because money was the root of all evil. So
remember
they
that.
forced Jews into that position.
Yep.
Again, it was a forcing.
And Christians were Jews. Let's
Okay.
just not
Yeah,
forget
okay,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like,
yeah,
they come
that
from
was
the
start.
same. And, I
Right?
mean, like people really
And
forget that.
And
Like,
people forget that a vast amount of Arabia was Christian for 800 years.
Yeah.
And then Islam came in.
Yeah.
So it's there for me, and I rock this shit because I fuck with all of them. Because when I get to heaven, Abraham ain't shunning this shit out of me, motherfucker. I was good
Wait.
to all my cousins.
Explain to them what that is.
Oh, it's the Abrahamic.
So it's got the cross.
It's got the cross, the Star of David, and the Muslim crescent.
Okay.
and you know
I'll
what?
walk into any of them houses of worship and pray.
You know something though. This is why I left the Orthodox world. Like partially, like number one, that's actually a really amazing thing. That there's even a concept where 3 religions that pretty much have totally different interpretations of roughly the same time
Same
period.
thing.
Right now,
You know what I
see,
mean?
yep.
The concept that a bunch of people have come out and said, like, you want to just try this? You know, we don't have to go to temple together, but we don't need to be fighting. Let's,
Right.
all right, like that's number one. I love that, and a lot of the Orthodox philosophy from the world that come back, and they don't even consider that a thing. They don't. To them, that's blasphemy to the point where they're not even acknowledging its existence. Which I'm like, you know what? That kind of sucks because it seems like every one of our holidays is just narrowly celebrating getting annihilated from someone else.
Yeah,
like every
yeah.
holiday, it's like 13 holidays a year, and that's another thing that I hated about that world is that like, and it seems like we as Jewish people from the ground up, we self-fulfill our own victim things sometimes. You know what I mean? We have a very like if we have a
I get you.
predisposition toward going toward to the point where there's a stereotype where we're all about money and stuff.
Yeah.
Then where is this inner hierarchy coming from? And how do we have that inner hierarchy and this judgment on people that just have a slightly different or maybe a very different view, but obviously peaceful of what you got? And then we're playing into a victim mentality. It's like we have the balls to judge other people, but not the balls to like stand up for ourselves.
There
like,
you go.
Like the Spartans, man, in Greece, they've been gone for thousands of years, and
But
we
we still talk about
we
it.
associate them with fighting culture. Like
Yeah.
if you saw a Spartan walking around right now, even if you had a fucking submachine gun, you might back off because you
Right.
saw 300. You know, you might throw that
Right.
spear.
That
at you.
motherfucker took the bullet.
Like-
So-
You know what's crazy
Like
though?
the
As
victim
you say
thing,
that,
man.
I look
No,
at
I get you.
like
Hate
the
that.
nation of Israel differently because I separate Jews from
From the
Israel,
name. Okay. Yeah.
They
yeah.
do too.
But like
Israelis
the
do too.
nation of Israel is badass to me. You got to think about this shit. Every time they fought for their home, they got kicked out. It's like a bunch of carnies coming into their house, fuck with their shit, kick them out their house, and they come back. Every time they just keep coming back.
That's the story for a lot of Asia, though.
Yeah.
Like over the. Look
Over
at
the-
any
over
part of it,
centuries,
like
yeah.
you know, Asia going to the Africa, the Middle East, that whole area. Like somebody had it for centuries,
Yeah, it's
and these
true.
motherfuckers slowly came in like mold and kicked them
The
out.
last
Then
rebellion,
they came back.
like the Ottoman Turks, there wasn't even really a rebellion. Like it seemed like it just kind of just like they just stopped.
Yeah,
checking.
like, they're like,
the
you know what,
mail
fuck it.
stopped. Like there was no
We
utilities
good.
anymore. And then all of a sudden, like they started getting the pieces together for like
Yeah.
Israel, in, like the 19 teens. The Ottoman Turks, it just seems like they just gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I always wondered what happened with the fuck with it. It's just like they ran out of gas. Just like and then they just said, fuck it, we'll walk.
Right,
Like,
like-
we
The
see
paragraph stopped in the book, like and
We see the
Tuesday.
Vegas flights. We'll get there eventually.
You know, and the thing is, with that whole region, you're right. Like, there's a distinction between Israeli and Jew, and the thing is, there's a distinction between religious Judaism and cultural. So even that,
Right.
and the thing, and another thing is that in Israel, there is no constitution that tells you what makes you a citizen. So even the citizens, if you're Jewish, it just says, you know, a Jewish homeland. The Jewish definition of a Jew is that your mother's Jewish. It doesn't have to be the dad. So you got that.
Right.
Where
You
it's
are
like-
what the
it's
mother
like,
is. I believe.
know?
Yeah.
So you got that where you have people that consider themselves Jewish, which I don't care. I probably do too. I don't like if
Yeah,
their dad's Jewish
yeah.
and their mom. I don't care. But like, there are people that are Jewish that won't even consider them the same thing. Then you have religious people that have, but like I was telling you about, they have like a victim mentality, but they're very, you know, they judge other people at the same time, which is
To me, I always
and no
thought that,
constitution. What makes you a Jew? What
to
makes
me,
you
I
a
always thought that
citizen?
was some type of
You know?
control. Like people start to use that as a bonding thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to say black, always say slave, but it's something that we all know. You know, the ones that were here. Oh, that's something we have in common.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like if a Jew can separate you from the other Jew, like okay, you were born in Israel.
Yeah.
But do you really know what's
Yeah,
going on?
dude,
Like you was
exactly.
there back when what's the name took over in Auschwitz?
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
you my guy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? man?
exactly.
Like, and then you look at the other motherfucker like fuck you. You
Pretty
know?
much,
like
man.
yeah, you're trading.
And then
It's a weird bonding
But-
tool.
It
But
is.
they
But we
use it
all
as a
have that.
control frame. Everybody,
We
that's
all have that.
humanity. We
We
all
all
look
have
for we
that.
all
Yeah.
look for something
Because
to bond.
really, what it comes down to, and we're gonna end this actually in 60 seconds.
All right. It's like it
Nah,
seems like we
because
just
I'm
got a threat
realizing,
from the
like, we're getting
CIA.
the light and shit. But like we're all tribal at the end of the day, and then we were
Of
just
course.
clumped, we were all clumped together by color, okay? And it just so happened to be that way, and we really have a lot of differences within those colors because we're again very tribal.
Of
so,
course.
you know what I'm saying? I am Jamaican. You're, you know, whatever the fuck
AO,
you are.
ADOS, a descendant
You
of
know what I'm
slavery.
saying?
Yeah.
I bet you
A mixed
probably say
one.
you're Cherokee somewhere, some shit.
Yeah, it's something in there.
Yeah,
White,
lying
a lot of white.
motherfucker. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, my hair ain't
That's
coarse,
great.
motherfucker.
Like if I ever say I'm Cherokee on a fucking like I-9, I'm gonna make sure I just drive a Jeep Cherokee. I'm not gonna like clear it up. I'm just gonna say like, yeah, Cherokee 96. Like,
All
I'm
right,
just gonna
and-
pull up in a Jeep Cherokee.
Grand.
And on that, we've given you an hour.
That was an hour.
Yes,
Yeah, dude.
Wow, that went by.
Yes, it was.
That went
Hadn't
Time flies when you're having fucking fun.
Where's
ain't
your next show? Just might as well
you
plug
know what?
yourself. Like, can we do that? For
I
all 6 of
am,
you people watching.
Joey,
I don't know.
Joey, go ahead and tell us where you'll be.
Yeah, where you gonna be at? Where we can see you, Joe?
So October 5th, I'm gonna be at Broadway Comedy Club. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bringer show. I'm probably getting like 4 minutes, but I'm just gonna try and win that thing. All right. Then I got Rhino and Friends. That's a legit show. That's gonna be on October 13th, I believe, in Suffern, New York. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. My Instagram is JRComedy_. JRComedy_. I'm gonna put it out there. But October 5th is the one that's gonna be in New York. And then Suffern, it's not Suffern's like, almost like upstate type
City,
New York.
yeah.
It's not like city New York, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like a different kind of, it's like Jersey, New York almost. That part of New York that's exactly like Jersey. Those are the two next ones. But I'll be doing the mics in the area,
Cool.
North Jersey, What about you?
Cool. This motherfucker can read.
I'm glad. Sorry, I was.
That vape kicked in. Look at this motherfucker.
Like,
I was not vaping. I was playing with myself.
because vaping's illegal and they rushed that one.
No. This weekend, the 21st, I am doing Comics Live with Dr. D podcast. Yeah, so look out for that guy.
De Blasio, Chris De Blasio.
Chris
Yeah.
De Blasio's podcast. I'm real happy to do it too.
He's funny, man.
Chris de
real funny
Blasio, like
dude.
the boy, the governor's son.
No.
Oh, I'm thinking like Bill de Blasio. I thought you said that.
No,
was like,
no,
It's like,
Chris
yeah.
De Blasio is very
Everybody's
funny
doing
comedy.
stand up now, man. Stormy Daniels, Bill De Blasio. I would watch Obama special.
Yo, you know what?
I would
You
watch
laugh,
Hold on,
but
wait, wait.
everybody thinks it's easy.
Wait.
I would
Everybody
watch it.
think they can do it.
All
I would watch
Stormy has to do is get up on stage and go. And we all know what she's talking about and just laugh for an hour. That's it. The joke's on you. You know?
Oh shit.
This Sunday at 7 p.m. I am at the Stand, New York City, doing Smokes and Jokes. Be a fun set. Get a nice little extended set. And Tuesday I am doing an audition for Broadway Comedy Club.
Okay.
I will hope to see you guys there at 6 p.m.
You should try for SNL. They got open.
You better erase
Nope.
like 95.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of all your
It's
shit.
not gonna do any better, man.
I love all minority community. And
I got
Caucasians.
nothing against anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody like got the fucking red light pointed at my
I
forehead
like
right
black
now.
people too.
I
Native American, Jews, Arabs, Asians.
Arabs. That's the only one you mispronounce. I like the Jewishes, black people. Like
Those are Arab.
Gotta go. All right.
Closes out, man.
All right. Guys, well, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And we'll have another guest host. Might actually be 3 of us. That's punk ass. Anyway, good night.